and I will put it in our summer sites. I did a video on how to organize our drive that I also put on our summer sites. If you wanted to look at it, I mean, it's dorky, sorry, but it's there. So if you want to recap, it's there. Again, thank you guys for being here. Last week we talked about organizing our Google Drive. We had some great questions about how to get non-Google stuff into our drive, and we're going to do that a little bit, probably more on another day. Today's a big day. Today's my day because I love Google Slides. We're going to be talking about docs and slides today. So I'm going to show you some things, and some of them will be like cray-cray, but it hopefully will give you some time to practice and some time to get a little bit more comfortable with options. But the best part is it'll give you an opportunity when you're borrowing other people's stuff, you'll know how to use it better. Because that's the best thing to do, just start stealing other people's stuff. So like I said, we are going to be recording this session, and I'll put it in there, and we're diving on in. So I'm excited that I got my agenda to work this time. It didn't work last time. All right, so
Mitchlin,
yes.
will you turn us so we can see your
Oh, sorry. I left you guys.
You don't want to look at us, Tracy?
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so everything is in our sites, and you should be able to, hopefully everybody still has it. I shared it with you. Is anybody having a problem locating it or getting there? I'm going to do a session on sites. I think I don't remember the order of our sessions. It's our last session. See, this is why I'm so glad you're here. It's our last session, and this is going to be the platform I'm going to use for my parents so that there's permanent information that they can always go to on how-tos, and it will also be one of my places for my students to go to that I can house information that we've already used that they might need access to. So in a digital world, I think this is going to be a huge help. So in sites, which there's two different kinds. There's the old sites and the new sites. This is the new sites. I could never figure out how to make the old sites work, so I like it better. Obviously the new site's better. So along the top are the banners of different pages that you have your choices for. So we're on the welcome. No, we're not, we're in home. And then we talked kind of last time about what we can expect. Total disclaimer, I am not an expert. I'm just somebody who loves to play and wants to share. So everybody's feedback is important. And one of the biggest goals for this is for you guys to have a community to go to when you're stuck. We're all in this together. And when you want some ideas, if you're stuck on stuff, we're going to be all working together. Hello. Welcome. So today I put this in. I'm not going to take the time to watch it right now. I just stuck in stuff in case we have extra time later. Thank you, Bree, because she gave me this one. It's a great little mini lesson on perseverance and not giving up and not being helpless. So we're not helpless. We are not like these people. If we have extra time, I'll share it. But you guys have access to it. Okay, so let's see. That's our agenda. So we have the schedule is just incorporating the different weeks and the different topics, which are very flexible if we need something else instead. The Google Classroom next week maybe will be more about things that you can put into Google Classroom or how accessible it is with other tools, because it combines with other tools really nicely. So maybe we'll expand on that a little bit. All right, moving into, we talked last week about just the fact that there's a ton of Google tools. We are not going to go over all of them, but just to give you an example, last week we talked about what was in our drives, kind of what was in Google, and then this is where I included the video on how to organize your drive, kind of what we talked about a little bit last week. So that's where you can find that information. So that's all older stuff. Then we're moving on to our docs and slides. The first big tip is Control Z on a PC, or Command, which is that little doohickey thingy, Command Z on a Mac. Those are what takes you and does something. If you made a mistake and you're like, oh shit, it's the total oh shit button. If you made a mistake, you just click one of those two and it will put back whatever you put. Even for the students, I just deleted 5 paragraphs of my writing, which I have seen happen. So we just start hitting Control Z and poof, there it is. So that's like the magic little tip or trick that is helpful. I don't care how old you are. I had to do a little Gary. He cracks me up. Has anybody ever experienced him on Facebook?
He's fun.
He was talking about, which one is
His
this
accent
one?
is the best.
Educators all over the world are stressing about coming back to school in the fall and keeping their students
Oh, is
safe.
this the job
And one
one?
of the biggest stresses is the social distancing.
No.
See, we got to keep students 6 feet apart. We got schools that come up with creative ways, A/B schedules, so that we can cut down the number of students in the classroom. But one of the biggest struggles we have is getting students from point A to B in the hallways. It's already stressful enough to move your class through the hallways when you got 25 children and you're trying to watch them all. But now we got the social distancing, and them kids got to be 6 feet apart. Now I've got some ideas for you that you're going to love that are going to help you with social distancing. Preschool and kindergarten teachers figured this out a long time ago. And what they do is they get themselves some rope from the dollar store, and then they put something on it that the kids can grab. So here's the line leader, and she got a carabiner. And then 6 feet later, you got student 2, and he got a carabiner. And then 6 feet later, you got student 3, and they've got a carabiner. And so all the way through, you got an entire class of preschool kindergartners holding a carabiner.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there. There's more to it, but just, he's a good resource when you need some humor in this situation, and he's got a lot of fun ones. Okay, so now we're going to dive into docs and slides. And I'm kind of guinea pigging you guys a little bit too. There's 2 resources out there that help make your slides more interactive, especially for the upper grade kids, but I think some of these are designed for the lower grade kids, whether we use them with them or not, I don't know. Nearpod and Pear Deck. I'm gonna try Nearpod today. These are what they call Google add-ons, which is a whole new world of cray-cray that you can jump into. They're right in your docs area where they say add-ons, and you can see that I have several that I've been playing around with. This gives me the ability to, I have to remember how to use it again. Okay.
Yeah, where did she go to get to that?
Huh?
Are we
Where
supposed to
did
be
you go
looking
to
at
get
this
that?
particular slideshow?
No, you're just watching me right now.
Oh.
You're just watching me. What I'm just showing you, this right now is just, I'm just showing you some ways to do things. I'm gonna go into docs first, but I'm showing you this Nearpod thing, so you can ignore it, but I am gonna have you, like I said, you're my guinea pigs right now, so I wanna see if this works or not. I don't know how it works. We're going to go to Nearpod. So I created this presentation in this add-on called Nearpod. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna do a live lesson with it. You can also use it with Zoom. It can also be student paced, so you can assign it to your students. Do you want to resume it? Yes. And so what happens is you guys are gonna log into this. So I'm gonna ask if you would go to joinnearpod.com, and I'll write that. Yeah, I'll write that up there with my markers that I don't even know where they are. Forgot that part. Can you guys see it, or do you need me to write it up there? Joinnearpod.com. Oh, yeah, sorry. Thank you. See? Well, I have a little one up here. did you, even with the code,
I put the code.
and they want a session name too?
I think it's just, I put my name.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh.
just our name.
It's yours.
It's just our,
Yeah.
According to, and I don't know, that's why you guys are my guinea pigs.
all right,
This
it's
is
there.
Did it work? Sort of?
Yep,
Okay.
it works.
I'm gonna write the code up here so I can go forward in case you, need, if you're not in yet. Okay, so I'm gonna continue. And so we're walking through, and I was playing already, so I have to go back to the front. Oh, sorry. Go back in. We did that. Okay, oops, there we go. So, today our goal is to have a better understanding of how to use docs and slides, and we're gonna have time to practice and ask questions and do all that other stuff of each other. So this is what it would like if you chose to use Nearpod, and I'm not sure that I really like this because it's a lot smaller than if I were presenting in Google Slides. But you'll see why I'm playing with it in just a minute. But I don't know if I like the smallness. All right, so in the world of docs, it's very similar to Word. And there's not, it's the structure, the format of where things are is a little bit different. Word is a little bit easier to do other things in, but it's very similar. But one of the big things is that you don't have to hit save. It automatically does everything for you. And it's automatically in Drive, which you can access from any place that you need to. I used to use Google Docs for everything until I figured out how to use Sites. But now I use it, it's like for note taking. I use it when I'm making planning, student writing. That's where they do their writing is in Docs. And then I was curious about if you guys had any other ideas. What's something that you found Docs like a really strong use for? And I don't know if that's a Nearpod question, so let me check.
Templates are really easy to make.
Oh, creating, yes. Okay, so go
Your
to
portion of it is amazing.
this slide, and then I think there's an opportunity for you to
Oh,
answer that question, and then it should post up there.
friend, every time you move yours, it moves ours automatically.
That makes sense, because I'm in charge of, okay,
So
okay,
when you're switching slides,
right,
it moves us.
good, okay. And there's two different formats. It can be where I'm running the slides, or I do it student independent, and then you guys do it at your own pace. But this one I did all together. So if you put it in there, did anybody else put one in there? Yeah. Oh, okay, so I have to approve them. I think I set that up based on. So the cool part is that if you are working with kids long distance and you want to do like a collaborative question and answer kind of thing, and they can type words in, it's neat because we can all see each other's responses. So Leah said that she uses it for collaborating, yes, totally, with other people and working on documents, and then it does give you a great place to give student feedback. Yes.
You should know that only yours shows people's names. Ours does not show.
And
names.
that makes sense.
And you can like them.
Oh, you guys can,
We get to like it.
Yeah.
I get to
even
give
if
them
you
all
can't
hearts.
see it?
We don't know who wrote it,
We don't
but we
know
can,
who wrote it.
we can see the
The-
note.
Yes, they are
Yeah.
anonymous.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a good point. So
That's
the
great.
kids don't know who's saying what. The teacher does. And you can Zoom with this as well. So if you were Zooming and share screening, then your kids could see it as you're doing it. Bree said that she uses it for student writing, benchmark comprehension practice, and Brittany uses it for great spot for checklists, and creating templates, field trip signups for the parents. Or the,
Yeah, I would just do like a half sheet, print it out. and then
okay, so
just
like
kinda-
creating forms for,
Yeah, to go home for everybody.
awesome. Great. Did I miss anybody's? Let's see, make sure I got, nope, okay. All right, so that's like the big use of this. But I wanted to check it out and we'll see if it's worth it. All right, but now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started in Docs. So let's just go ahead and open a new tab and open a Google Doc. This is where I'm going into my own presentation. And you can punch out of Nearpod. You can go ahead and, I don't know if you can be in a new tab and
Yeah.
you
I
can do
mean,
both.
it's still
Yeah.
going, you just
I
have to go
just
back
click
to the
back and
tab.
forth.
Okay, so you can just open a new tab and you won't lose where we are with that. What I did find out is that if I'm in Nearpod, I can't, these are embedded links and I can't go to them. Now I can create a slide that will take me there, which I think I did. So I would have to learn how to use things a little bit differently. Yeah, this is the slide, but I want to go. So I'm going to show you right now just some different things in that you can do. And like I said, I mean, I've been doing this a lot, and so I'm going to do some crazy things. And you're going to be like, I don't need to do that, which is fine. But so go ahead and open. Does everybody have a Google Doc open? Okay. And we're just going to kind of walk down the row like we did with Drive, just kind of see what the heck are these things all about. So starting, the big Whompers is File. There's a lot that goes along in the File tab. So if we click on File, you can, if you wanted to, you could create another document, a new one from anywhere that you are. We talked last week about when you're creating new things, sometimes it's easier to be in that Drive folder where you want to start, where you want to store it. If you create it from here, it's not going to store it to that same Drive folder. So you can, if you're like, oh, I just thought of another thing I want to do, boop, open it up, a new tab, and start making something else. So that's an option. You can make a copy. This is huge. You can make a copy in Docs and Drive, probably everything else, Docs and Slides. If you're borrowing something from someone that you want to use and adjust, always make a copy. Don't, once you start adjusting this work, you're adjusting it for everybody. Now you can fix that. It can, the owner of the document can fix that. But just so you know that if you want it and you want to use it, make a copy first and then start playing.
I may have done that to you guys.
You did, but it was okay. It was a good learning experience, and it was all good. So that's where you find the make a copy thing, and we're going to go there a couple times, so we'll get used to it. Download. This is where you can turn it into. Google will go into Microsoft Word. Again, the fonts are not going to be the same because the Google fonts and whatever fonts you have they're not necessarily the same. I don't even know what that means. A lot of this I don't even know what it means. You can turn it into a PDF, and we talked last week about how if something's in a PDF, that means you have access to it, you just can't change it. So if you find it and you want to have it in a PDF, you can download it as to a PDF. Plain text, web, I don't know, I don't know, stuff, whatever. I don't use most of that stuff. You can email it as an attachment, make available offline. I don't really do that. Version history, that's where you can fix mistakes. When your students are saying, I just lost everything, you can go into see version history. And you can actually go back to certain times or certain dates when you were working on a document. I don't want to go deep into that right now, but that's something we could definitely talk about later. It's probably, I mean, when you've got your student writers, that's probably going to come up. So if we have more time or another time, we can dive into it a little bit deeper.
That's under what? Oh, version history.
We're all in, yeah, version history. You can rename your document, you can move it somewhere else if you don't like where it is. We're all talking about how we can't find our files, and you're like, you know what, this is in this file and I never find it in that file. I want to put it somewhere else. So So you can move it from here. Add a shortcut to Drive, which just would put that document, boom, right into your Drive. So if that's something that you want to do. You can move it to Trash, publish it to the web. Again, a lot of these things I don't do. This right here, page setup and print. Those are the two. I don't know. Can you guys see down that far? Or down here? Yeah, you can almost see that. And page setup and print, those are kind of like the big things that you're going to need. I don't know why print's all the way at the bottom, because that's what we do most, but it is. It's whoop down there. I'm sure there's always the little shortcut right here. I can't remember my name half the time, so I never remember shortcuts. And it's kind of obvious, Control P, but so you don't have to necessarily go in that way. But page setup is how you can rearrange, format your work. So if I wanted to put this guy sideways, I would just click on page setup. And this is where you guys might want to start playing a little bit. If you want it landscape view instead of portrait view, you're going to just click there, and all you have to do is click on landscape instead. I'm not going to do that right now because that'll change all my formatting, but I think I have another example that will show you in landscape. So that's where you can play with that. You can play with your margins. If you're not able to fit everything you want on your doc, I always go right to margin and I start putting zeros in between the 5. So that way I just get smaller margins, and it just gives me more space. I just do that. If you make your margins too small, and some of you guys might have encountered that, then you're going to get out of the printing rate. You're not necessarily going to print everything on your paper. But usually if I just put a little 0 in there, it'll still print right. And then I get more space on my paper. Here is how I can change the color of my background. You guys have probably, oops, sorry. I got something weird going on. Stop that. Are we still recording? Yes. Oh. Anyway, this is where you can change the color of your background. Now, this is sort of one of the difference between sites and docs, because in sites you can put in an image, or you can put anything in your background. In docs, you can only change the color, which is still fun, but just that's one of the bigger differences. So if you want to change the background, I made mine like that little blue, because that's my favorite color. But you can just click on there and then pick whatever color you want. So go ahead and play with that. Pick a color, any color, and then you just click OK. And that kind of took us all the way down to our file. So walking across to edit, that's where if you're stuck with, if you want to undo, here's our Command Z or our Control Z. I'm on a Mac, so it's going to look a little bit different, but this is where you can undo what you just did. Redo it if you like. Oh wait, I did like that after all. I don't use that one very often. And then this is where you're going to be using your copy and paste function. I do remember these shortcuts. I admit it. I use the shortcuts. Selecting all. So this is just your typical edit area, but that's going to be really where you're going to find your copy and paste things. And we'll go into, because like these things, I think the image I copied and pasted. So let's go ahead and practice that for a second. This guy right here, no, we're not going to do that yet, sorry. All right, so I'm past, now I'm going to move on. Sorry, we're going to do that in a minute. View for docs isn't really a big deal. You might want to show whatever, I don't know. I need view in sites, and we'll talk about that later. But in docs, it's not a super big deal, but we have insert. This is like Disneyland in docs. This is where you can do all the fun stuff. So this is where we're going to play right now. I'm going to have us insert a table first, because that's really the easiest way to put any kind of image and control where it goes in your doc. So I'm going to put in a table. This table I put in, I think, is like a 3x6. If I look, oh, it's just a 2x2. So, come come over here. Just make like a 2x2 table. And it's going to be small for a minute, and that's okay. And then click it. Are we there? Oops. Ah! Go away. Okay. And then just kind of unclick. And then go into your table. Just like maybe the first box. And just put your tab in there. Ignore what I have on mine. And then we're going to insert something in there. So I'm going to open up YouTube. I'm going to get a new tape. Okay. I'm going to open a new tab and I'm going to go to my YouTube. And because I'm going to put a video in. So and then I'm just going to kind of find something quick. So here's Gary again.
All right, eyes on me.
And one thing I've learned in distance learning is, and I'm not good at it yet, is the best way to share things. And I used to highlight this address, and it might be the same as the way I'm going to show you. But when I did that, it didn't always have good sharing rates. Sometimes it would be blocked or whatever. So, oh, she found a good one. So I come down here where it says share down here, and I click on it, and that gives you the shareable link. So you got one too. So, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so come down here, click on that word share, and then something like this is going to pop up. And it is the same thing, but sometimes, well, it's a little bit different because they've got this, if you're looking in the code, it's a little bit different. So you're just going to click that blue word that says copy. Does everybody have something to do? Do you know your stuff or are you good?
I'm slow.
Okay.
We're the shortest.
Okay, do you want me to wait, help, or keep
No,
going?
I will.
I know, that's why she's here. All right, so then we're gonna go into our doc. I'm gonna create another row in here. And we're gonna go back into that insert. We're gonna come down and we're going to, what am I inserting? That's funny, no, I don't remember. Is that a video or a picture? I lied, I'm sorry. It's the link. Yeah, okay. So, click, insert, and we're doing link. And then here's where you can name it. You can say plain video link, whatever you want to do. Oops. I can't spell, but that's not new. And then you click where it says link, and they're going to look for different things that you might have been playing with, you might have been using. I always just do the Control V, I paste it in there. So I just hit my Control V, and I paste that shared link in there. And then you hit apply, and now you have your video link in there. Questions? So the kids, when they go into it, the kids are just going to click on that link and it's going to pop up and take them right where you were. Any questions or anything? Or you know you have the right link because it'll tell you what you put in there. So I have a video link here. Now in Docs, it doesn't give you the cute little video window like it does in Slides. And that's why I was getting confused because I forgot what I did. So they're just going to let you link it. In Slides, they give you have a lot more things you can do with a video. But in Docs, you can insert the link. Are we good? Mm-hmm. All right, so I did the hardest one first. Well, not really. This next one, this is just an image. So we'll go easy. We're going to click on an open box. Do you guys have a question?
Yeah, how do you
question. That's gonna move us into this bar, which might as well go there. You can highlight what you want to change. So I'm gonna highlight those words. And then I want a different font. So this is your font list here. And I have added a ton of fonts to Google's, which you can do. The way you do that is you just click in your font area and it tells you you're in font. Sometimes you have to wait a second. And then you can go to this where it's right here where it says more fonts. And it'll take you to all the options. And you're like, okay, I don't like that one, I don't like that one. This one I already have, so it tells me what I already have. And let's see, I don't know, I'll do this one. So I'm gonna click, all I have to do is click on it and hit OK. And that adds it to my font list. So, that's how you can, the good part is it will show you what you've used recently. It's kind of once you get a ton of fonts in there, unless you remember what they're called, which I don't, it will, it gets a little confusing. You have to scroll down through. So there's pluses and minuses of finding a lot of fonts that you like, but sometimes we have more time than others. These are like my go-tos, these two little friends I like the most. But that's how you add fonts. Does that make sense? Okay. Then, I don't know. Okay. So then you just come over here to the letter, and that's going to be the, get out of there for a second. Right here, oops, it's still highlighted. You changed your font. I'm going to give you cherry cream soda. And then you go to text color, and then you click on it, and you can change your text. Oop, that's not a great choice. If you want to make it bigger, you're going to come over here, and that will make it bigger or smaller. If you want to make it highlighted, you can highlight it. There's all these little friends in here. Some, we're not going there yet. Okay. So that's how you can change your font in there. We've got, okay. Are we ready to go on to adding an image? Okay. So, and it's easy. Go to Google, and then I always just go straight to Google Images. These aren't necessarily copyright-free images. If you want to be safest when you're looking, and I'm never am. I'm totally gonna admit that right now. You can also go into Insert up above. You can go to Insert an Image, and it gives you some different ways. If you have an image from your computer, you can upload it. If you have it in your Drive, you can find it in your Drive. And if you have Google Photos, it'll find it from your photos. Your URL or camera. This is what I use with my students when I want them to show me what they've done with their work. They can click here, hold their picture up, their work over the camera, and just click on it, and then that's how they can show me their work in Google Docs. Just a super quick thing. So let's say I want to go from the web. Oops. Where was I? Insert image, web, and I want to put in a, I don't know, desk clip art. And then they'll give me different, and this is why I use Google Images, because you never have as many options.
You put deck.
Oh, did I?
You have some card decks.
Well, there we go. They're not even next to each other. Oh, look, more choices. And then you just double click on it. So you can insert an image, you can go to Google and copy paste. Put an image in here, because there's some things you can do with images that are helpful. we good? Do we have images? Mm-mm.
You said go to insert. Sorry, I lost my page.
Nope.
I had to find it again.
Go to insert,
Mm-hmm.
image,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you wanna just search from the web,
Oh.
click search the web. And I mean, you can type flowers, you can do, garden backgrounds.
What does it mean if it says unable to create some images?
Sometimes it does that, and I don't know why, and I just pick something else.
Leave it to me.
I know, huh?
Right.
So, I mean, it's not just clip art images, you can find lots of different kinds of things. If in the right world, you're being safe about the images you use, but if you need other options, then you can also go into Google Images and copy paste, which also works. Are we good with our images? Anybody need help? Okay, so when you have your image, it's gonna pop up the way it pops up. If you click on your image to where you get these blue dots, that's where those are tools. That's where you can really start to play around with your images. You can grab a corner. So here's a corner and bring it in, and that would shrink your image. You can grab a side and stretch your image, another side, whatever that, and make it bigger. You can play around with your sides. This part down here, this is when you include text and things like that. I'm not good at this, so I'm not even going to pretend to know what these mean. My husband doesn't even knows, and I don't know why he knows, because he doesn't know anything, of course. But so this, you might want to play.
I know this part.
See, Gina's got these.
Why do I know that? I don't know.
I'm not good at these, but they help you when you're incorporating it with text. That's why I just go to slides, because I don't get all that stuff. That makes me confused. The other thing you can do with an image is you can kind of change the shape of it. There's this guy, and I honestly forget sometimes where he is and how to do it, so I have to Google it. But if you come up here to this little cropped image guy, you can change the shape of your image. So sometimes I'm putting together different things and I'm doing people, and I want images of people, and I like that portrait style, so I'll click on the circle. So what am I talking about? I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on crop image.
What if we don't have that?
Oh wait, I lied.
You have to.
It's sites. You got to go to image. Oh, can we do it in this one? No, I lied. I'm sorry. You can't do that in docs. You can only do it in slides. But with that crop image, what that does mean is you can't, where'd it go? Get out of here, I don't want you. You can, if you don't want all of it, if you want to, like, you don't want a desk that tall, you want to chop off the legs, you create this black tool, and that's the cutter tool, or the cropper. So if you have this cute little clip art picture that you really like, and it's only got, it's got a boy, a girl, and a dog, and you like the dog. You don't care about the kids. You can clip the kids out and just have the dog. So I only want a half a desk. Who needs a whole desk? So I'm going to come over here. Again, I'm going to go like to the side and click on it. And then you have to click off of the picture, and then that crops your picture. That's something that it takes, you kind of have to play around with it for a little bit. It takes a little bit of practice to get, proficient. I'm not even going to pretend that. You can also click back on it, and it will give you back the old image if you decide you want it to go back. So that is that's a tool that I find myself using quite a bit, is cropping it. Oops. So I want to go back, and I put it back. So we've learned how to insert videos and images, and how to play with images once we've inserted them, because that's usually kind of important in your formatting scheme. This is a super quick thing I'm going to do. It's another 30-minute lesson, which I'm not going to do. We don't have. But if you want to create something more specific in docs, there's what they could call draw. So you can go into insert and you can do a drawing and then create new. This is a good tool for your students. This is where if you want them to add some their own thing or whatever that's not just an image, this is a good tool for your students. So you can just click on new, and then you have this Google Draw option. You can add shapes. You can make them colors. You can add, I mean, all these little doohickey doodles. But this is also, and then once you get what you want on there, save it and close it, and then it goes on to your, where, in your text box where you put it. I can make it, again, just like with the images, I can shrink it up or make it bigger. I can crop it. Oh, I can't crop it there. Go away. This one I took an image from Google and then I added text to it. So you can play around a lot with those, with that tool. That's a tool that's why I use slides instead. This one, it's very doable, and if you get comfortable with it, then it's great. But you don't have to do that step in slides. In slides, you can just automatically throw everything in there. I want to move to slides right now. Does anybody have a doc question? Okay. So now is a great time. You can, I don't know, get out whatever you feel like doing. I don't want to miss my spiel. Formatting is another tab. I forgot to go all the way over. And then you've got your tools. The grammar spelling tool, I didn't leave docs. I lied. I'm sorry. This is great. It'll help you. It'll red squiggle the stuff. And I tell my students, if you have writers who are writing in here, please go to Tools, Spelling and Grammar, and check your spelling. Because they're at the point where they're kids in the technological age, and they need to know how to use the tools to help them spell. Even if they don't know how to spell everything, they need to start learning how to use the tools that help them. So they go and do the spelling and grammar check. So that's an important tool. Add-ons is something, it's another whole little crazy place that is not necessary right now for what we're doing. And then help, you can always Google questions and they will come. They're not going to come. They will help you. All right, so now I'm going to start barely, I'm going to just touch into slides. So I'm going to open a new tab. And I want to kind of be careful. I'm going to go back into my drive. I want to make sure I put it somewhere there that I want it. So I want this one to go into the folder I'm using for this little session. So I'm going to go to my folder. You can just go straight there if you want, or you can put it into a folder. It doesn't, I mean, we're just playing right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We only have less than 15 minutes, and we can go forever. So I will probably continue more next time. A lot of what we did in docs works the same way in slides. It's just slides is a little bit easier to use, especially once you figure some stuff out. But with slides comes, do we all have a new slide open? Okay. And one of the first things I tell my students is put a darn title on it, because when you go to find things and there's like 80 different untitled presentations, it makes it kind of tricky. So you can just, I'm going to just put plain for now. And if you put a title here, it would automatically populate up there too, but I just put one in there. I'll call this one plain also. So this has the same tools. You're going to see some things on mine that are not on yours because I added them there. So if you want to change your default, your font, just highlight it, and then here's our little font section. Put it whatever you want. Are we good? They have themes that they have, you can try, which would give you an automatic background and font. I don't usually use, they're not my thing. This is where PowerPoint definitely has better slide backgrounds. But there's a lot of places now that are creating them and creating them for free, and you can borrow their slide templates, and they're super cute. Or you can, I always just create my own. So, but themes pops up whenever you open a new slide or start to create a new slide. So if you want to use a theme, you can. And then once you're done, just X out so you have more space. The difference with this one is that you have these guys where you have your background, your layout. Theme is what we just talked about, and then transitions when you can make them go fast or slow or pew, pew, pew. I don't use transitions very often, but the kids love to use them. So we can start in, I don't know, I gotta get rid of that theme. I don't like that theme. Sorry. There. Okay. So you add slides easily by clicking on the little plus sign. So it always starts you off with formats. It really depends on what you're trying to do. Sometimes I use their format and sometimes I don't. So that's in this layout section. So you can come to layout and it'll give you some automatic templates that you can use. This is the title slide that you always start, and this is one that I use a lot if I'm presenting some information to the students. There's all these different options. I usually go for blank because I'm always putting in my own stuff, but that's whatever you want to do. I'm going to make this blank for right now. So we're in layout.
We have a question over
We
here.
don't have layout on ours.
Okay, if you are missing a toolbar, thank you. Try these little carrots off to the side. Do you have a little carrot over here?
Yeah.
Or I don't know what they're called, upside down.
Stephanie, if you click out of the box, layout will come out.
Oh, well,
Yeah, so click out of that text box, then scroll up, and
Oh,
layout
there
will
it
be on
is.
the top.
yeah, I think you have to have selected the slide on the left.
Oh, yes, you
Because
have
if
to
you're
be,
editing the
yes,
slide.
Okay.
yes, they
Okay.
want you on a slide.
Okay.
So if I wasn't, oh, yeah, it doesn't show up. So you're putting a layout onto a slide. And same thing with background. If you want to change the color of your slides, you have to click on the slide that you want to play. So I'm going to go to background right now. Are we all in that section? Okay. And here's where you can use the color option, like you had with docs. There's a few more choices, I think. You can pick like this color, and then, I mean, you could really play around with gradient and make it look, like cooler or whatever. There's two things that you have to be careful with. If you're trying to make your slides, some slides are one color, some slides are a different color. If you don't want them all the same, do not click this, add to theme. What this does is this makes every slide that you have the same slide. And it might not seem like a big deal, but I cannot tell you how many times I'm on like slide, 15, and I got my perfect background, and I'm doing American Revolution, and I found the right battle I want to put on that background, and I accidentally click this, and it puts it on every other one. So any image I put on those other ones, I'm like, oh, bad news. So only hit this button if you want all your slides to look like that. Otherwise, just hit done. You can also, if you choose, this is where I use my, I find a lot of my backgrounds. I'll go to Google Image Search. Did I do that too fast? I go to choose image, although I really like that other color. And I'm in the right, okay. Search bar. I put like peaceful blue backgrounds. You can put whatever you want in there. And but it'll, if you want a background and you add background to your search, it'll give you things that are more appropriate for backgrounds. Brittany is the queen of finding the best backgrounds. She's got, they're just so peaceful, and mine are always too busy. She always finds good ones. So you find your background, and when you're doing backgrounds, usually less is more because you're trying to put other stuff on there. I don't know. I'll try this one for now. I'm in my blue thing, and then I'm done. So, and after you do that, you generally are like, well, dang, now I need to change that color. Then you gotta change everything. So it's often best if you decide on your background at the beginning, so that way your slides can kind of match. If you like this background and you want it on all your slides, you want to put it as the theme. If you only want it for a couple slides, this is where, let's say I like that background, I'm not going to use it on all my slides. I'm going to click on that slide up in, this is like where it shows you what's working over here. So I can tell I am on this slide right now, and it's highlighted in orange, and I like that slide. So I'm going to copy and paste that so that I can use it again. So I'm going to just hit Control C, and then I hit Control V, and then I have two of those. And maybe I don't need title again. But let's say I want to, I kept my YouTube thing open. Maybe I want to go back and I want to put that video in, and I want to make it look better. So I'm going to click back open to that tab, go to my share. I'm going to copy my link. And then I'm going to, again, this is insert, is where you put all your stuff in. Image. No, I lied. Here they have a specific tab, which is a little bit different for video. And that's why in Docs, they don't have this tab, so it comes out as a link. But in Slides, it comes out as a specific video. And this is especially great for the little guys, because that way you can really direct where they're watching. Yes, I'm going to send them to YouTube, but they're going to where I want them to go. They don't have to end up in YouTube. It's a YouTube video, but I'm not sending them directly to YouTube. They can get there on their own steam if that's what they want to do. But my slide, my video is going to be on this slide. So it kind of gives you that safety net of saying, I didn't send them to YouTube. You know, that my information was on this slide. So I copied it. I'm going to put it through. I'm going to go, I already know what video I want, so I don't need to search it. I'm going to go by URL and paste it. And that's the one I want. Hello, Gary. And I click select. And then it pops, then you can see it in there. And so the students are going to watch it from the slide.
All right, eyes on me, boys and girls.
Mitchell, if the district blocks YouTube, can we put the links to these videos? Or will the links not work?
They won't work. If the students are well, it depends. I take that back. If they're using a school Wi-Fi or hotspot, and the district has blocked that YouTube, it won't work. If they go to their home computer or they're using their home Wi-Fi, then they can watch it. So that was a big issue. Like, dang it, man, this was not locked when I put this on here. And all I had to do was tell him, hey, and then he opened it up. It was a big issue. It's those dumb middle school kids. They kept getting, well, probably sixth graders too.
Yeah.
But this is a safety net where if you put in exactly what you want them to watch, then they're not floating around in YouTube. Can they get to YouTube? In a heartbeat. You just click on this little guy right here where it says watch on YouTube. But I feel like I'm kind of covering myself. I said this was the video I wanted them to watch. I told them not to. I'm gonna stop here. As I said, this is like my favorite thing, and we can go on forever. We'll probably do a little bit more work with this. There's some things you can do with videos, like you can, if you don't want the whole video, you can also decide where you want it to start and stop. So that, I really like that feature. If you just want them to watch something and not listen to it, I haven't figured out when the heck I would ever do that. There's a few options in here. So I know I'm kind of, I don't know, leaving you hanging, but you can also play, if, you know, because we don't have anything better to do. Play if you choose in there. So do anybody have any questions other than a million? Thank you if you filled out the form that I emailed out last week. We're going to use that information actually. I don't think I'll do another one this time, but please feel free to email me. Susie was great. She's like, I didn't get to see this part. Will you please, you know, what do I do? And so I tried to put in a video to help if you wanted to look at some more information. I'm hoping, I think this is recorded. Last time I thought so too, and it didn't, so hopefully it did. All this information is in your sites. I just want to double check and make sure I didn't miss anything I really wanted to catch in our agenda. I don't think so. So next week our goal, my goal, whatever, was to talk about what was it? Oh, Google Classroom. So if we want to work a little bit more in slides, we can do that too. We've got some flexibility into this one as well. So that's it. Very good? Yeah? Okay.
Thank you, Michelin.
Well, thank you for being here.